Hello, in this tutorial series I will show you how to set up all the different functions of my minimap in a new project. At the moment I am using a small demo project. We can run around with our guy. We have some blue friends running around, I just call them friends. And we have back there some red guys running around, I call them enemies. So it's not a very interesting project, but it's enough to show you how to set up the minimap. In this video we will add a blue point on the minimap for ourselves, the player, green points on the minimap for our friends, and some textures on the minimap which show where these special things on the map are. These pretty interesting things here from some epic example project, so we want to see these on the minimap. So let's start. At first, open your main UMG widget which you have. In my case, it's just a UI widget. So, and there is nothing in here. So we at first drag a canvas panel in there. So we have something to put stuff inside of. Then we drag this to the bottom left, because I would like to have my minimap in the bottom left. We give it a nice size, let's say 300 times 300, and drag it to the correct position and anchor it to the bottom left, so it's always on the bottom left. And now we can already scroll down to our user created widget list and add our minimap directly to the canvas panel. Then we just say it fills the whole canvas panel. And there we already have our minimap, but I think we want to have a nice border around this. So, to add a nice border around this, we will put this canvas panel inside of an overlay. We could also use a border, but the nice thing with using an overlay is that the border is actually drawn above the minimap, which looks better. So the canvas panel has to fill the whole overlay, and then we will just drag an image on the overlay, and the image also fills the whole overlay. And then we can look into the content browser where in the minimap directory where you migrated the minimap inside. Here we have a textures folder, and I have one example frame which is a rectangle and one example frame which is a circle. You can decide yourself what you like more. In this video we will use the circle. So on the image we have the brush, and here we have the image which we want to draw, and we can just drag and drop the example frame here. And now we see, hey, we have a frame on top of the minimap. Now we just have to say the minimap that we want to use a circle, which is here. The bool to tick is circle. You don't see it here in the preview, but inside of the game we will see it. Now there's one more thing to do inside of our main UI. We have to override one single function, which is called onMouseMove. In this function we will just get our reference to the minimap and call setRootGeometry. Now we just connect this stuff here, and that's everything you have to do to make your UI being able to use with my minimap. It's really simple. So now we could hit play, I think, but there's not much at the moment, because you can decide whether you want to use your own background texture on the minimap, or you want to have your scene captured by a camera, which is basically just on the top and capturing everything. And in this video, because I don't want to create my own texture at the moment, I will use this capture cam. But in general, if you look how other games do this, they almost always use their own texture for this, because it generally looks better. You can make it more stylized and have more control about how it looks. But we will use our capture cam. So go into the minimap folder and drag and drop the capture cam into the scene. So now we have the capture cam in our scene. You don't really see it, but you see that it has generated an image of our map. You see here we have this small circle, which is the area where we have the trees and the grass. So we don't have to do anything else on this capture cam. Just drag and drop it into the scene, and now it generates the image for us. So there is one small more thing to do for making the minimap work. We have to go into the minimap functions blueprint and tell the minimap what our player is. So we have the function getFollowRotation and getFollowLocation. And well, the location we want to follow is our owning player. So just take this, just drag a wire from here and get the actor location of our player and drag it into the return node. That's everything. Now the rotation, we can just get the rotation of our player and drag and drop it into the return node. There is one problem with this, and I will show it to you. I can hit play, and you see, hey, it works. But at the moment the minimap rotates in the direction where this player is running, and it looks a bit strange. So I think you want to have it that it rotates with your camera. So for this, don't directly get the actor rotation, but get the rotation of your camera of your player. So for this we have to first cast this thing to our character, which is the third person character, and then get the camera, which is called follow camera, and then get the rotation of this camera, which is called world rotation, and plug this into the return node. And now we are done. So now we can hit play, and we see the minimap is rotating with our camera, and it's moving around with our player, and our player is moving way too fast, but it's just for being able to demonstrate all this stuff better because we are faster. So you see, if I move to the edge here where the grass ends, you see it's like the center of the minimap because our player is currently in the center, and you can change this. I will show you this later. But first we want to add a point for our player in the center. So how do we do this? It's really simple, and you just have to open in the minimap folder the move panel blueprint, and here you get into the graph and you have the function draw points. It's the only function of all of these you have to care about. And now you will see why my minimap is so awesome, because it's really simple to set up stuff like adding points. So just right click somewhere and search for add point. And you will see we have some options here. You can either add one point with an arrow. We will talk about the arrow stuff later. Multiple points or multiple points with arrows. And at the moment we want to add a point for our player, and we have exactly one player in our game. So it's at point, because it's only one guy. And to make this a bit more organized, we will use a sequence. So you see at point wants to get a map location and a point style. The map location is the world location of the actor. If it's an actor, we want to draw as a point on the minimap. So we have to get the player, and inside of a bootstrap blueprint you can always just use get owning player or get owning player pawn, and just get the actor location of this guy. So we just plug this in there, and the point style is a structure or struct. And if you don't know what a struct is, it's just a way to manage multiple variables into one single variable in Blueprint. And so you can just right click it and select split struct pin, and then you will get all the sub-variables inside of this struct. You can either choose a color, material or texture, and at the moment we will talk about color, we will talk about material and texture later. We will set the size to, let's say, 10 and 10. We can choose a color. I will choose, let's say, a nice bright blue. And if you chose color, you don't have to care about the two input pins here on the bottom. So now we can just hit compile, save, and now we can hit play. And you see we get a nice blue point in the center of the minimap because our player character is in the center at the moment. And you see I have fixed the walk speed. So if you walk to the edge here where the grass ends, you see it's really correct. Our location is where it's shown on the minimap. So now we have the nice blue point on the minimap which shows our player. And there's actually one thing I forgot to change in the UI blueprint. You see, the minimap is still quite big. You see the circle around here. We should make it smaller. So go into the UI blueprint, and I forgot to set the padding. So select the minimap or select the canvas panel where the minimap is inside, and set the padding so that the minimap is I will just show you. I set it to 30. I set it to 30, and now you see the minimap is almost directly here on the border. So I think I can go to 33. Yes, it's fine. So, and if we now compile this and hit play, you will see that it looks better because we can no longer see the minimap behind the frame. So now that we have the nice blue point which shows where our player character is, I can show you that you actually can set whether this point is in the center or somewhere else. And if you want to change this, you might do it because, well, it's a bit unrealistic that you can see what's going on behind you, because in real life, human can only see what's going on in the 180 degrees in front of him. So you could say that, for example, the player character or the player would be here at the bottom of the minimap, so you could only see what's going on in front of him. For changing this, you would need to go into the minimap functions, where you have the function getFollowPosition on the map. And you have a comment here. The top left of the minimap is 0, 0, while the bottom right is 1, 1. At the moment it's set to 0.5, 0.5, and we just set it to 0.5, 1, which should be the center at the bottom. And yeah, it is. So now you see the player is at the bottom, and we actually should have set the padding a bit more so that the point is actually fully visible, but I don't care about this now. So you see the player is at the bottom, and if I now rotate the minimap, then the minimap gets rotated around this point and not around the center. But for now I think I like it more if it's 0.5. So let's continue with drawing points for all of our friends, so the green people or green characters. So go into the move panel again in the graph and in the draw points function, and we draw a point for our player, and since our player is one guy, it's at point and not at points, but we have many friends on this map, so let's search for at points, because we want to draw multiple points at once, so we only need one single node to draw all of the green characters who walk around. So this node does not want to get a location, but it gets an actor array, so an array of actors. And then it just, you can double click it, and you see it's really just doing a for each loop on the actors, getting the location, and adding single points. So you just give it an actor of arrays. So for this, let's search for get all actors of class, and we have to connect this here. And we want to get all actors of the class, which is, if I click this, then I see it's class friend. So we select the class friend here, and I have to type this correctly. There are 2 friends, I don't know why. I guess this is a bug. I hope I got the right one. Yes, I think so. And I connect this, and again we have to split this struct. And we want to use a color again, let's say 5 times 5. And since they are all friends, they will get a nice green color. We hit compile, save, and hit play. And now you see, hey, we have some green points on the minimap, because the green points are the guys running around. So it works. We only have to use this single one node at points, and we now get nice green points on the minimap. So the last thing I want to do in this video is drawing a textured point for these big special things here. These things are blueprints of the class special thing. So we just copy and paste this. I add a new pin here. Search for the class special thing. Again, 2 of them. I think I got the right one. Add points for this. But now I do not select color, but I select texture. You could actually use a material, and you could animate this material or do whatever you want with this material. But for now, I only use a texture. And now that we use a texture, let's say we make it 30 times 30, because this special thing is really a special thing, so it needs a special point on the minimap. And the texture, you can go into the textures folder inside of the minimap folder. I have one example texture here. It's a sun texture. It's just a sun, nothing special. And just select the texture here in the content browser and click the nice arrow here. And now we have selected our sun texture. We hit compile, hit save, and play the game. And now you see, hey, we have actually a sun texture on the minimap. But why is it green? Because the color here, I copy and pasted the node, if you remember, the color is green, and this color is actually not only the color if you select a color, but it's also the color in which the selected texture or material gets colored. So if we do not want to use any color, we have to set this to a perfect white. And if you create this node, then it's default to white. Since I copy and pasted the node, it was set to green. So now we hit play, and we see the sun is yellow. We can walk around. We see, okay, this is the sun. Well, it's the special thing which is represented by a sun on the minimap. And now that we know how to use textures, we can actually, and I like to do this, instead of just drawing a colored point for our player and the friends running around, we can just draw a circle, because I think using a circle instead of a point looks just better. So let's go up here and select texture. And I have one circle here. It's just called circle. So use this as the texture here and here. And also change this to texture. And now hit compile and play. And now we see our point for our player is no longer a rectangle but a circle, and the points for the friends running around is also a circle. I think it looks better like this. So there's one thing I forgot to do in the UI blueprint, which is here, the main UI blueprint. I forgot to do another thing. The image we have here, since it's on top of our minimap, we actually have to set this not to visible, but to hit test invisible, because the minimap needs to get input from the mouse, and the image should not block this input. So after we set this, we can actually do stuff like zooming in and out with the mouse wheel. It's a feature in the minimap. You don't have to configure anything. You can just zoom in and out with scrolling the mouse wheel. So that's everything I wanted to show in this first video for the minimap. In more videos I will show stuff like using the click position to do stuff in the world, or doing stuff like drawing points with arrows, and so on. So this was the first video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, you know where the comments are, and I linked a thread to the Unreal Engine forums where you can also ask questions. There I might answer faster than in the YouTube comments. So yeah, see you in the next video.